Thank you, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here to share some of the thoughts on fog and edge computing. So over the past several years, fog computing and edge computing has really taken hold. You still hear people sort of fighting between the terms, and this is fog, that's edge. I like fog, I like edge, and I think that's a complete waste of time. I think it doesn't matter what you call it. Over the past several years, the concept of fog computing have really sort of taken hold. And it doesn't matter how you define things. If you take a look at how people define things, people are now today seems to be saying roughly the same thing. So this same thing, no matter what you call it, shares several characteristics. Everybody now believes that you ought to extend cloud computing capabilities closer and closer to the users. And the computing closer to the users shouldn't be standalone. It should be a seamless integration between the cloud and everything you deploy in the middle. So it should be a continuum of computing capabilities. And another characteristic that it shares is that this continuum of computing capabilities should be a horizontal capability or platform. It shouldn't be isolated to different verticals of application. So you don't need a set of things for manufacturing, for connected vehicles, for smart grid. You need only one. And this one thing does a few very fundamental capabilities that as fundamental actually just as sending a packet from A to B or locating a file that's everywhere. So this is actually, you're distributing the computing capabilities from your cloud all the way out closer to the end users, and then you go use them. A third characteristic that seems to be shared by most people is that this ought to be standards-based. It shouldn't be a closed proprietary thing. So this gives actually people a very important opportunity. So think back 15 years ago when people was designing cloud computing. People largely missed the beginning of the process. So part of that caused sort of a cloud computing even today still remain to a large extent proprietary in many scenarios, right? And that trend still continues. When people started to build cloud, fog, and edge computing, this is actually a very good opportunity for us to actually do it in a standards-based way. So this is more important because fog and edge computing are going to be much more distributed, are going to involve more players, are going to have to work in more sort of environments. So a standards-based solution will be much more critical. So that's why I'm very, if you look at the industry, and almost every single major player in the cloud space are developing something similar. They're all releasing products. They may not call it fog computing or even edge computing, but they're doing similar things. So I want to sort of summarize those observations to share with everybody, and that's sort of the several things I want to have in mind. Thank you all very much.